Here at Unity of Aliso Viejo, we greet you in the name of all that is beautiful and sacred, where we embrace all spiritual paths that teach love. Unity offers a positive path for spiritual living and welcomes people of every creed, color, ethnicity, race, socioeconomic background, sexual orientation, and people with disabilities. I happen to be one of them. Unity leaves no one out, and I'm very grateful for that too. We also like to say that you are not here by accident, but by divine appointment, and we are so glad that you kept your appointment with Spirit this morning.
It is so good to be back with you. I missed you last Sunday. I had a bit of a cold. By Thursday morning, I knew I would not be able to speak on Sunday. And it was our Ribbons of Remembrance, which I love every year. And so I emailed, since I couldn't talk, Debbie Wheeler-Ure, because we had done Ribbons of Remembrance together for about 7 years while she was our music director. And she graciously said, yes, she would be happy to do it. And then I emailed Kelly, and Kelly went to the pharmacy and picked up my medication. And then I emailed Tom, and Tom got all the pictures that we would need on the screens. And I emailed Bruce and Kelly, and they did the meditation and everything else. And I emailed the board, and they made sure the doors were locked when everybody left. And you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a church to heal a minister. So thank you all for the part that you played. Heard a story about a girl who was on summer vacation, and she wanted to earn some extra money. So she went to a well-to-do neighborhood not far from where she lived, and she knocked on doors to see if they wanted to hire her as a handy person. And the first door she knocked on, the gentleman said, well, would you like to paint my porch? And she said, sure, I can do that. He said, how much do you want? She said, $50. And he said, sounds like a deal. In the garage, you'll find the paint, the brushes, everything you need. So she was gone a couple of hours and then knocked back on the door and said, well, I'm all done. And there was enough paint to put on 2 coats. And so you got 2 coats, and he says, that's fantastic. So he gave her the $50 and a $10 tip. And she starts to walk away, and she said, oh, and by the way, it's not a porch, it's a Lexus. We need to be clear in our communication. Well, I had the wonderful opportunity to attend my high school reunion on Thursday. We don't have one just 25, 50 years. We have it every year. I attended Our Lady of Peace Academy in San Diego, so most of the girls are still around. It's all-girls boarding school at that time. I was a boarder at that time. Now it's a day school. And it was so much fun. And this happens every year, to see how people change and how they don't change. And we had a set of identical twins in our class, and they still wear the same dress, the same shoes, the same jewelry, the same hairstyle, exactly the same. I just think that's fascinating. And there were young women I talked to who still had some complaints about the way things were when we were there in school and how the nuns were so rough on us and all that. And then there were others like myself who feel so grateful. The education that we received there was equal to none. I am so grateful. That's where I learned prayer. That's where I learned discipline. And I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful I'm here. You know, I'm grateful I was there, and I'm grateful I'm here. So I shared a room with my roommate from high school, Karen, who lives in La Quinta. And she's the godmother for my daughter, Carrie, who's named after Karen. And then I'm the godmother for her oldest, Stephen. He wouldn't like the name Margaret, so he got Stephen. Anyway, how many of you love rap music? I am really impressed. I hadn't thought much about rap music until I read an article about Sean Combs, and he had a VH1 show called I Want to Work for Diddy. And it gave some of the quotes that he gave to people who were on his show. And they were so impressive. As Lou said, they sounded just like Unity. So I wanted to know a little bit more about him. His name is Sean John Combs. He was born November 4th, 1969. His stage name, Puff Daddy, Diddy, and P. Diddy, is an American rapper, a record producer, actor, and entrepreneur. He was born in a housing project in Harlem. He saw his father murdered in his car out on the street in front of their home. He graduated from the Roman Catholic Mount St. Michael's Academy and played football for the academy. And the way he got his nickname Puff was because he was always huffing and puffing when he was playing football. And Daddy came from, it means player, and it's, like he was a hot guy. So that's how he got Puff Daddy as his name. He was in the Broadway revival of Raisin in the Sun, and the television adaptation that aired in February of 2008. He hosted the MTV Awards. He was named one of the most 100 influential people of 2005 by Time magazine. He started a clothing line named Sean John. He was nominated for the Council of Fashion Designers of America Award for Menswear Designer of the Year. He's no slouch. He changed his name from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy in 2001 when he made his first gospel album called Thank You. In 2003, he ran the New York City Marathon, raising $2 million for educational system in New York City. He founded Daddy's House Special Programs, an organization to help inner city youth, and it includes tutoring, life skill classes, an annual summer camp, and he pledged $1 million to help support victims of Hurricane Katrina and donated clothing from his Sean John line to victims. He's donated computers and books to the New York City schools. And then he did his show, I Want to Work for Diddy. And these were some of the quotes that were in the magazine. Know your own answers, think clearly, express your own ideas, let go of worry, have confidence in yourself, and an attitude of gratitude. He could be a Unity minister. So let's start with number 1. Think clearly and express your own ideas. So often we accept the ideas of someone else instead of really searching our soul to know and understand what we really believe. Do we believe what we were taught as children? Or can we let that go and believe something else? Know your answers and have confidence in yourself. Lester was a young boy, a junior in high school, and he stepped into one of the classrooms to wait for a friend of his. And the teacher called him up to the front of the classroom. And he said, "No, I'm not in this class." And he said, "That doesn't matter, come on up here." And he went up and he said, "But I can't." And Mr. Washington said, "Why not?" He said, because I am mentally retarded. Mr. Washington got up to him nose to nose and said, don't you ever say that again as long as you live. That is a label that somebody gave you that does not belong to you, and you need to give it up right now. Well, Lester was shocked. Nobody had ever talked to him like that before. Well, at the end of his junior year, he attended the commencement services for the seniors, and Mr. Washington was the speaker. And he talked about having confidence in yourself, how you can do anything if you believe in yourself, that you have everything you need already within you, that God created you perfect. And after that speech, Lester went up to Mr. Washington and he said, do you really believe that about me? And he said, absolutely, I do. So Lester was put in Mr. Washington's senior speech and drama class. As you can imagine, he excelled. He spoke as valedictorian at the graduating class the next year. He went on to study more voice and drama. Then he became a DJ on the radio. And before long, he was one of our most inspiring motivational speakers, Les Brown. Because somebody told him, get that label off of you and never say it again. And so maybe some of us were told when we were younger, you're not smart enough, or you don't have enough education, or you're too skinny, or you're whatever. It's time to let that stuff go. You have all the confidence you need. You were born with it. It came as standard equipment from the Lord of your being. There was a businessman who had a nervous breakdown, and he was seeing a therapist, and things weren't going well. And he talked to a friend of his who said, when was the last time that you expressed appreciation to someone? And that made him really mad, because after all, he was sick. He had problems. But he went home and he thought about it. And he thought about a teacher that he'd had in grammar school. And he found her address and he wrote her a note to thank her for everything that she had meant to him. And about a week later, he received a letter back from her that said, my eyes are filled with tears from reading your letter. In my 30 years of teaching, yours is the only letter of thank you I have ever received. That letter changed her life, and it changed his. He started thinking of other people that had been important to him, and he started writing letters of appreciation. And it wasn't long before he was totally out of the depression and doing magnificently. He was on top of the world because of gratitude. And every one of us we have people that we really are so grateful for, people that touched our lives. Vaughn's was so touching, his sharing, and Kelly as well. And I know how Jerry struggled with that surgery, and was he going to do it or not, and he's already dancing, I know that. So gratitude is a great healer. So the first point is think clearly and express your own ideas and include gratitude. Then number 2, grab the opportunity for change. And Lou, I was so impressed by this, because when Lou found out he was going to sing today and knew what I was speaking about, he went and looked up Sean, and he brought me these quotes. My research assistant, Lou. These are some more of Sean Combs' quotes. The true champions work the hardest. Believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to close your eyes and dream, but then open your eyes and see. You only live once, so get busy. The only thing that can stop you is death. So that is why time is the most valuable resource you have. Don't ever waste another minute. Approach the good and the bad days in life in the same manner, because life is composed of both of them. A lot of people start to believe that their circumstances are never going to change. This is not true. If you want to change your circumstances, you can. All it takes is hard work that is directed toward the manifestation of your goal. And finally, seek greatness. Don't settle for mediocrity. You already have everything you need within you to succeed. Your sole job is to direct that energy towards whichever dream you want to turn into a reality. From a rapper. Amazing. And if I hadn't read that article, I think what I would have missed. Because I never listened to rap music. I have no idea who any of them are. And I'm just so grateful that I know so much about him now and the good that he's doing in the world. So grab the opportunity for change, and part of that happens through visualization. When we visualize what it is that we want, if we want to be slender, we close our eyes, we visualize that. The next thing we know, we're slender. Now, you can't visualize 6'10". I'm sorry. There's some things you can't visualize, but there is so much that you can. Seeing ourselves as we might be, as God created us to be, can motivate us to change. Fear is the single most important and tragic emotion in our lives. And boy, we see a lot of that during election season, don't we? How many have seen 100 times Smashing the Crazy Train? To strike fear into your heart. Everything is going, where? In a handbasket. Fear can be a powerful motivational tool. The folks in Washington are well aware of it and make frequent use of it. As if that were not bad enough, some people who claim to speak for God also use fear to achieve their personal agendas. And then he says, 51% of smart is knowing what you're dumb at. If we get quiet and listen, what we hear is the voice of God. You are my beloved child, in whom I am well pleased. Number 3, have confidence in self. And self is with a capital S. That is the God presence, not the small you, but the God presence. Have confidence in the God presence within you. Our scripture comes from Galatians. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. We can have confidence when things are at their best. We can have confidence when things are at their worst. Think of all the opportunities people have missed because they lacked the confidence to step forward. We all need the confidence not to quit at every stage of our lives if we live up to the potential that God gives us. I remember when my granddaughters were going into preschool, and the preschool director said she could tell at registration what children were going to be the leaders in their class because of the confidence they had. At 3 years of age, the confident children are the ones who have been told, you are God's perfect child and I love you just the way you are. They are the children that have been taught the truth from their fathers, their mothers, their grandfathers, their grandmothers, and who knows, maybe even from Puff Daddy. And this part of our service is called our Sacred Walk of Abundance. We know that there are two parts to the law of prosperity. One is giving and one is receiving. And we also know that as we put body, mind, and spirit together, that the reward is so much richer. And so we invite you, after we bless our offering, to come forward and take a blessing out of the blessing bowl. There's one on each side here. And then if you've brought a gift, to place it in the plate. And for those of you who bank by mail or regularly on your credit card, you'll find one of these in the seat in front of you. And you can use that to put in the plate, because we want to be sure that everyone has a blessing to take home with you. And I hope that you'll keep your blessing nearby this week so that it will bless you the entire week. So now I invite you to take your gift and hold it in your hands and bless it with the words of our offering blessing. Together, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. Amen.
And now Reverend Margaret will lead us into a time of meditation, this time for real.
Spirit, by your love, I now rest in your eternal arms. Quietly I go within and hear. Be still and know that I am God.
I invite you to relax ever so gently now, becoming aware of your breathing, breathing in the pure life of spirit, breathing out only love, for love is what you are. When we are open and receptive, we find God's wisdom everywhere. God is fully present in every moment, in every place. Where God is, there is good. As you focus on the presence, you find yourself thinking more clearly and expressing your ideas with wisdom and clarity. You have more confidence. You are able to easily surmount challenges that before you were afraid to try. You are open to change. In fact, you look forward to change because it tests your abilities. It gives you the opportunity to shine. Visualize what it is that you want for yourself. Your body, your relationships, your finances, your health. Have confidence, because it is not you, but the Spirit of God within you who does the perfect work. And so you relax. Feel God's love surrounding and enfolding you in the quiet, in the stillness, in the sacred silence. And now let us gently return our attention to this time and place as we sing together, "Sweep Over My Soul."
Sweep over my soul.
And so it is. Amen.